0303. In the small town of Danvers Falls, the clocks had long since grown used to this time. Residents could sleep through alarms, ignore sirens, fail to hear the creak of their own floors. Yet exactly at 3 minutes past 3, most of them would open their eyes without knowing why, as if something touched them from within, waking them, forcing them to raise their gaze into the darkness. Children tossed, whimpered, clutched their toys. Elders stood by their windows, staring out, not knowing who or what they were waiting for. No one spoke of it openly, but everyone knew. Danvers Falls had its own rhythm. The town did not live by the tower clock, but by a strange inner pendulum, and its hand always stopped on the same mark, 0303. Dan, a night courier, was one of those who had grown used to darkness. His life was a map of shifts and routes, quiet courtyards, stairwells, arches between buildings. He knew the city better than most locals, because he traveled it not by streets but by paths of shadow. That night began as usual. An order, a bag slung over his shoulder, a shortcut through 2 arches and a fire escape. But something in the air was wrong. Silence too thick, darkness too heavy. The steps beneath his feet trembled. Dan raised his head, the staircase spiraled upward, but instead of the 4th floor, there was the 3rd again. He climbed higher, and again the 3rd, then a 3rd and a half, which the building did not have. He froze, feeling warmth in the metal rail, as if holding not iron but a pipe from a boiler room. And then he saw it, a mirror door between 2 walls. In the reflection stood a man in a hat. He did not move, only watched. And in his smile there was something impossibly calm. Sweat broke on Dan's forehead. He tried to turn away, but the reflection spoke. "I am Old Boo." The voice was soft, as though it came not from the mirror, but from inside his head. Dan stumbled back, catching the railing. But the man in the mirror raised a hand, as if to reassure. "Step not down, but sideways. The stair will lead you to a place where you are not." Dan blinked, and the world vanished for an instant. He stepped and found himself on an empty street. The courtyard was gone. The houses loomed dead and dark like stage scenery. His phone buzzed in his pocket. On the screen, one missed call from Old Boo. Meanwhile, across town, librarian Mrs. Welsh sat over catalogs. Her eyes burned from candlelight. The power was flickering again. She checked the visitor log and noticed something strange. Between 2:13 and 3:14, the clock had not moved. An entire hour was missing. She lifted her gaze and saw a card that had never been there before. It bore only 2 words, Old Boo. Warmth spread through the room. The shelves creaked, and she thought she saw a door opening between them. In the dimness stood a figure in a hat. Mrs. Welsh pressed a hand to her chest and whispered a prayer. But inside she knew, this was no dream. On the river bridge, teenagers laughed as they filmed videos for their channels. The wind whistled, mist rolled from the water. One boy pointed to a metal plaque. "Look, the letters are moving." At first they laughed it off, but the inscription truly shifted. Metal screeched until the words aligned into Old Boo. The wind rose, sounding like laughter, and below, over the water, a mirror door hung in the air. "Hey, do you see that?" whispered one boy. His phone slipped from his hands, thudding onto the planks. On the screen flashed the time, 0303. Thus Danvers Falls met the night when legend stepped out of rumor. Some saw staircases leading nowhere, others words on the bridge, others mirrors in their homes, but all knew the town had gained one who should not be noticed. His name was Old Boo, and he came at 0303.